Welcome to the fifth section of our C programming course. So we are going to start this section with a very important concept called type promotion in C programming language. So how the types will get promoted automatically by the compiler, that we will try to understand in this class. So far in our previous classes, whenever we have seen the programming examples or lab programs, deliberately we have used the operations on same data types. What I mean to say is, so far this is how the operations, the arithmetic operations or whatever may be the operations that we have done so far in our previous lab programs. So we have deliberately used the same data types. The variables, the operations are done on the variables of same data types. So let's see this example. So here we are having two variables. First one is variable A and the other one is variable B. And the third variable is also is C, variable name C. And all of these variables of same type means whatever we are going to add. So those two variables A and B are of same type, and the result is also getting stored in the variable of same type. So we have done these calculations deliberately in order to avoid the complexity of how the compiler works. So we have taken these kind of simple examples. But in practicality, in reality, this is not the case. So it is not possible for a programmer to always convince the end user to give the same type of the same values that the programmer is expecting. So what happens in reality is, so there is a possibility for you to go on. So whenever the operations are done on the variables, there is a possibility to do the operations on different data types. So here take this example. Here we are having a data type, a variable A of type integer and another variable B and C of type float. Both of them are different data types. Will the C compiler be able to do operations on variables of different data types? No. C cannot do operations on variables of different data types. Instead, what it is going to do is, every time it identifies variables or of different data types, it is going to match them into one single data type. So once again, every time it identifies that two variables are of different data types and an operation needs to be done on those two variables, then it will automatically promote one data type into another data type so that both of them will match each other. So how that promotion is done, how that automatic conversion of a data type into another data type is done. So for that, C is going to follow certain rules. So it is totally based upon the rank of the data types. So I have taken all the basic data types here, and this is how. So this is the hierarchy for type promotion. So for convenience, what I have done is I have given ranking for each and every data type, means if they are used along with the qualifiers. So every possible I have provided the ranking for every possible combination of data types along with its qualifiers. So what it means is, so the long double is having the highest rank. This is the first rank which is provided to this data type, and the second rank goes to double, means double is having lower rank in comparison with long double. So always, so for example, if you are doing an operation on two different variables, the lower rank variable will be converted into higher rank variable. So that is based upon those set of rules, the type promotion is done. Means the lower rank double, for example, let's assume that here, so we will take the same case. So here the variable A is of type integer and the variable B is of type floating point value. Now which one is having the highest rank? So the float is having the highest rank. The rank for float is 3 and the rank for int is 5. Now which one will get promoted? So the data type with the lower rank will be promoted to the higher rank. Means the data type int is having the lower rank, so the int will get promoted to the data type of type float. Okay, so that is how the type promotion is done. So, and this is done automatically by the C compiler, and this is, so it is going to use these set of rules. So let's try to understand this concept by using an example. So I've taken an example, programming example, so that we can have better understanding of these concepts. So I've taken 4 variables, all of different types. One is integer type int val, the float val is of type float, and double val is of type double, and char val. So here one more point to observe here. So far we haven't seen these kind of declarations. 5.5f. So this is a good practice to denote the floating point literals. So it is usually used practice. So to use this these kind of operations. So now we will consider the case 1. So what is the case 1 states is, here we are doing an operation on an integer value and floating point value. Now what happens is, as we have discussed, the promotion is always done to the higher ranking data type. In this case, the higher ranking data type is float, and the result is getting stored in an data type of type the data type is of type float. So the declaration is done directly here. So which is possible in C99 compiler. Okay, so and the very important point is %f. So the result is of type floating point value. So I am declaring it as %f here in this case, in order to print the value exactly. So how the things will get converted. So this is how the things will get converted. Previously, initially the value of int. So int value is 10. Now it has been converted into 10.0f. This is how the compiler is going to convert an integer type into a floating point value. So the conversion is done in this way, and the result is going to be stored in a variable of type floating point values. So we are going to get a result of 15.5000. 6 values will get occupied. Okay, and if you take the second case, so now can you guess how the promotion, so which variable will get promoted into which variable? So can you guess? So here we are having 2 variables, one is of type int value, integer type, and the other is of double type. So the double value is having the highest rank in comparison with the int. So the double will get converted into, the integer value will get converted into a variable of type double. And the representation, so this is how the double will get represented in the format specifier format. We haven't seen so far. It is LF. So whenever you want to display the content of a double type variable, we have to use the format specifier as LF. So as we have discussed, whenever the context comes, we will discuss all the format specifiers. So this is our first context, which we haven't discussed it so far, which is LF is used for double data type. Okay, so now the third case is the float and double. Here the comparison, the operations are done on 2 different data types. The data types, one is float and the other one is double. Which one is having the highest rank? Double is having the highest rank, so the float will get converted into double type. See here, so here 5.5 into 2.2. So the values here these are the values for the variables. 5.5 is the floating point value and the double value is 2.2. So the same operation is done and the result is going to be 12.1. So here is a special case. So where the floating point value, so the fourth case is int and char. So this is where we haven't discussed anything about this so far. So the integer and character. So how a character will get, so which one is having the highest rank? As we have seen in the type promotion ranking, the integer is having the highest rank in comparison with char. So how a character, so here I am trying to add integer value 10 to a character value a. So what is the result we are going to get? We will get a value of 75. So here the result case 4 is of type integer, means whatever the result that we are going to get by this operation, it will get stored in result case 4 variable. Okay, so now how we are going to get a value of 75? So this is the very important concept that we haven't touched so far. So as we go on in the next 2 or 3 videos, we are going to discuss this concept also. So at this point of time, just remember that every character is having a number code, which is called as ASCII value. Here the character value, value of the character variable is uppercase A. The uppercase A is having a number code 65. So which is called as ASCII value. The ASCII value for uppercase A is 65. Similarly, lowercase a is going to have another number value. And whatever the characters that we have, that the C compiler will support, every character will be having its own ASCII value. Try to get this number code. We will understand in detail what are those ASCII values, that we will try to understand in our later coming videos. At this point of time, just keep in your mind that every character will be having its own number code. Now, whenever the operation is done, so the variable with the lower rank, which is the character, will get converted into a variable. Means a uppercase A will get converted into its corresponding number code. The corresponding number code is 65. So this char value will get converted into 65, and we are going to add 10 to it. So the result is going to be 75. Okay, so this is how the types will get promoted automatically by the compiler. So before doing any arithmetic operation that are to be done by the compiler, it is going to check whether the types are matching or not. If the types are not matching, they will get matched based upon the type promotion rules that we have seen in our in this class. Okay, so let's see the output, and so that you can get more clarity on this. So I'm running this program. So just run this program. See here. So the case 1 is int plus float, which is going to give an outcome of floating point value. That is how the things will get converted. So here internally what happens is the integer value 10 will get converted into 10.0000. Now the operation 10.000 plus 5.00 is done. So the final value is going to be 15.5000. Okay, and the second case int and double, which will get converted into double. Again the same result we have obtained. And the third case is floating point value and double. The multiplication is done. And the fourth case, so this is where a character value will get converted into an integer value based upon its number code. In this case it is 65. So 10 plus 65, which is going to produce a result of 75. So this is all about the concept of type promotion. That's it for this video. See you in the next class with another concept, a very important concept called typecasting or type conversion, where a programmer can forcibly convert the existing data type into another data types. So that's it for this video. See you in the next class.